Let's talk about what everybody else is talking about in town. Luigi Mangione back in court this morning. He's accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on the streets of Midtown last December.
All right, Mangione pleaded not guilty to the federal charges against him, as well as state charges pending in New York and Pennsylvania. Joining us with more is defense attorney Arthur Aidala, not associated with this case, but I know you've been following it closely. Arthur, thank you so much.
Yeah, very closely for a lot of reasons. I mean, the attention to this case is really on another level.
You told us this morning that you heard that there are people who've been camped out there all weekend?
Since Saturday at noon.
Wow.
Saturday at noon, and it's a whole new industry that really never existed
Who
before.
Are they?
It started with Harvey Weinstein's trial 5 years ago. It's all the true crime bloggers. It's not Fox and the regular affiliates.
So they take up all the seats in the courtroom?
Yeah. Kind of. No, but what the court officers, the New York State court officers are fantastic. So there's like 2 rows for Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS.
Right.
But then the rest of them are people who pay to be there to watch these hearings. Now, these hearings are very important. Really very, very important. They're typical. They happen in every criminal case where it's appropriate to have them. The first one's going to be what's called a MAP hearing. And a MAP hearing, that's the name of the case, has to do with the evidence they've recovered from him. So it's got to do with his writings, which are important, because it gives you his state of mind. It gives you what his intent is, and the gun itself, and the backpack, and everything else. So the judge is going to hear whether those were obtained the right way. The defense is saying, hey, you were allowed to grab the backpack, but you weren't allowed to look at it until you had a warrant, and they didn't have a warrant. So that's the first hearing. That's probably going to go on today and tomorrow. Then Wednesday's the judge's calendar day, so nothing will happen. And then Thursday they do what's called a Huntley hearing. And a Huntley hearing has to do with the statements that he gave to to law enforcement when they grabbed him. And the argument there is, based on the body cam video, they waited 17 minutes. They spoke to him for 17 minutes before they read him his rights. And the real issue there is, was he free to leave or not? And the defense is planning on calling 2 witnesses that says there were like 20 cops around the McDonald's where he was. There was no way he could have gotten up and like, you know what, I don't really want to talk to you guys. I'm going to leave. Like, they were never going to let that happen. The judge, Judge Caro, he's a storied judge. His father was a judge. He's been on the bench a long time. He's already thrown out the death penalty possibilities of the case.
That was big when that happened, yeah.
And so this is going to be real lawyering with real lawyers. I know the prosecutor. He's been in the office, I think, almost 30 years. He's fantastic. Joel Seidman. I know Mark and Karen Ignifilo. There's Zach Entrada, who's another fantastic lawyer. Tenny Garagos. Mark Garagos is... It's a battle of the titans.
So basically, they're basically saying whatever was in his backpack, they needed a warrant for.
Correct.
Do you really need a warrant for that when...
Well, you do. But there's something also called inevitable discovery. So they were able to grab the backpack once they identified him as the person, as the suspect. But technically, you're supposed to have a backpack. But there are exceptions to the rule having to do with the safeties of the officers. So they're going to say, hey, we needed to know, did he have an explosive device in there? Because was he going to blow up the building?
Because he was wanted for murder at that point. So they may have thought, well, there could be a gun in this backpack. So they had this, would it be probable cause?
Yeah, also exigent circumstances. We need to protect ourselves from the damage he could do. And they're also, the prosecutor's also going to say, like, Judge, okay, so we didn't get the warrant right there and then, but we were going to get it, but they needed to make sure they were safe, so they should be allowed to open up the backpack in this public place where they're not only protecting themselves, but everyone else in that McDonald's. God, you know, he could have had a button and blown everybody up.
All right, let me ask you about the other evidence that was in that backpack, which was a diary where he talked about, you know, going after somebody.
Now I know what I have to do.
Right.
Yes.
So, I mean, his defense attorneys don't want that made public because that could be a problem with the jury.
It goes right to his intent, what his frame of mind was at the time, and that he had thought it out and he had planned it out. So it's a premeditated act as opposed to a heat of battle. Look, God bless these lawyers. They're great lawyers. This is an uphill battle. I mean, to be as forthright as I can, he's on video. You guys have shown it literally hundreds of times now. I'm not exactly sure, what the defense is going to be, but
Is it possible
They're great
that
lawyers, they'll figure it out.
Is it possible that the judge could sort of do bits and pieces here, like maybe the diary is not allowed, or maybe you can't call it a manifesto, so to speak, or is like different terminology that could be involved?
The judge will break down that. I mean, again, this judge has done hundreds of trials, so he really knows what he's doing. He will control the language to some degree as well. So, as I said, it's a battle of the titans.
So when do you think we'll get a decision on that?
The judge most likely will write something. Often in these things, the judge just rules from the bench because it's so obvious one way or the other.
Right.
But because millions of eyeballs are looking. I saw Luigi last Tuesday in prison. He was sitting there on a laptop, just going through his,
Did you talk to him?
No, I could have. I mean, he was literally 5 feet away from me. I was talking to somebody else there. At the MDC. It wasn't at the McDonald's.
But why were
at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Because when an inmate has a lot of computer stuff, they get to come down to the visitor's room and use their laptop to see the evidence against them. And so he was sitting there in like a little isolated area. And by all accounts, you know, he's been a model citizen since he's been.
And everybody says, I mean, he's getting tons of fan mail.
I think he gets more than anyone else.
They said that at least 4 rows of the court today could be his supporters. A couple rows of the court could be.
And there's people outside wearing free Luigi. Yeah, I know.
This is crazy. Okay, listen, we're all lawyered up with Arthur Aidala on your birthday.
All right.
Happy birthday. Thank you for spending.
I did 58 push-ups today. I feel like Mike Woods.
No way you're 58.
I feel like Mike Woods. Thank you.
Mike is sleeping in right now.
God bless him.
Thank you, Arthur. Happy birthday.
Arthur, thank you so much. Happy birthday to you. And we'll continue our coverage of the Luigi Mangione hearing throughout the morning, including a special hour of Newsroom Live right after Good Day. You can see it on the Fox Local app and the Fox 5 NY YouTube channel starting at 10 a.m. A lot of people also watch on TikTok, believe it or not.